One error I made when building these little nuke boxes is I made them a bit too small. It's almost impossible to pull the frames out to inspect them if there's a little buildup on the frames. So I was going to take a hive body and move these frames into a regular hive body so that we could get in and out and inspect them. It's very easy to make a block-off box, put it in a hive body, and turn that hive body into a 5-frame nuke. So we start with a regular bottom board, and then we put down our hive body, and this little feeder box takes up about 5 frames of width. So now it's a matter of trying to pry the frames out of the old nuke, and that was no easy task. I had a little gizmo that I bought a while back, which looked like it might work, but no, the frames were in there just, well, too hard. I ended up using a conventional hive tool. And keep in mind, this is the blank frame at the end, so you can see why I'm moving him out of this box. The hive itself had been on the move. I started out on the picnic table and put it on a rolling cart and moved it about 3 feet a day. My goal was to move it over to the garden where, they wouldn't be in anybody's way. So we did get the frames out. The first frame was just a resource frame, and this was the original frame that we started the observation hive with, and it's got a bit of capped brood on the one side and eggs as well. And this next frame was a frame I pulled from one of the other hives to just beef it up a little bit, and has a good deal of nurse bees that came with it. The last frame was another resource frame, mainly open but having some honey. There's about 4 pounds of honey total in between the 2 end frames, and of course we stick in the blank at the very back. When you open a hive up, you're bound to have a lot of bees that go into the air. It's just the nature of the beast. Unfortunately, there was a little complication today because of that, and I'll get to that in a few moments. The box is a feeder box, but there's a hole in it for a jar, and I put an empty jar in there just to seal the hole up and then put an inner cover on. I'm out of outer covers, so for now I'm just putting the tin from an outer cover on, and we'll have to take care of that a little later. My hope was to keep this hive moving along towards the garden. So, I wanted them a little protected, so I put an entrance reducer in. As for the move, I'm afraid the bees had some other ideas. They had been following the hive as I was moving it, but when I looked back to the picnic table where it originally was, all the bees that had been airborne went back to the original location. So I guess we're going to have to start this move over again. Sadly enough, I just ended up taking the hive back and putting it back on the picnic table for now. As I have often said, at the end of the day, bees will be bees. Oh my, that's going to be harder than I thought getting these things moved. They all went back to the original location where the hive was 4 days ago. Oh well, it is what it is.